At first, let me break the ice by calling out 3 specific stereotypes that are associated with showing your work. Number 1, it is a way to show off. Number 2, it is about taking pride. Number 3, it is about looking down on others. Well, if you think this way, then let me break your bubble and tell you that this is not true. And with this thought, you have been misleading yourself. Moreover, if you are not able to break this parochial thought process, then let me tell you, you will not move an inch towards tapping your full potential. Showing your work is instead about these 3 things. Number 1, it is a life skill that is being misunderstood and misrepresented. It is about a process to foster self-esteem and normalizing that there is no harm. I repeat, there is no harm in taking pride in things that you master. Number 3, it is an imperative in this digital age. Remember, you are not the only one. You are not the chosen one. You are not the special one. And it's okay. And hence, you need to and you have to and you should make an effort to be there, to stand out. You cannot take yourself for granted. Displaying your work is a way to express and form your own identity. According to Erving Goffman's analysis, individuals perform roles in everyday life to shape their identity and influence how others perceive them. By showing your work, you engage in this performance actively, constructing and presenting your professional and personal identity. Therefore, by nature, intuitively, as humans, we are bound to share our work and show our work. Showing your work is deeply rooted in human social behavior and interactions. It satisfies basic psychological needs for validation, learning, and belonging, and it reinforces sociological principles related to identity, community, trust, and reciprocity. By understanding these connections, you can appreciate the broader impact of showing your work that would eventually have a ripple effect on both personal and societal levels for you. Some of you may still wonder and say, how does it really matter? Why should I share my work? I will just keep doing what I was doing. I will just keep working hard. And if things have to happen, they will happen. Well, it's completely up to you. No pressure. If you want to be with that parochial thought process and that stereotype and would want to pass on that stereotype to further generations, well, that's on you. Remember, you are not the special one. And please don't take yourself for granted. Trust me, if you don't get out of this thought process, you are going nowhere. Why? Because you are not special. There are many like you. And if you wish to push your vision of excellence as an individual, you cannot afford to be passive and leave it to chance. What will start unfolding if you start showing your work? Now, that's a bigger question that we need to start understanding. When you start showing your work, there are multi-facets aspects that surfaces, that comes out. Now, let me outline some of the key aspects that starts unfolding when you start showing your work. And remember, when I say show your work, it is irrespective of who you are, what you identify with, which sphere of work you are a part of. It doesn't matter. Anything, anybody, it is important to realize that we need to start showing our work. So these are the few things that starts happening or starts to unfold when you start showing your work. Number 1, Focus on developing skills. You really start honing your craft, whatever that may be. Overcome perfectionism and overcome the fear of being judged. Well, a lot of times we resist sharing our work thinking, oh, what will others say? Is this the right thing to do? Is this the best thing to say? Is this backed enough with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of research? Doesn't matter. Honestly, nobody cares. Remember, this is for you. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being there and backing yourself up. Third, build a supportive community for yourself. Trust me on this, when you start showing your work, people who would resonate will automatically, organically, or perhaps organically start forming associations with you, and you will eventually find yourself to be a part of a community altogether. The fourth one is it enhances your creativity. You start pushing yourself to think differently, to think unconventionally, and that's where you challenge yourself to break the conventional thought process. The fifth one is you establish a genuine connection with yourself and others. Well, showing your work in many ways helps you to be more aware of yourself. And that brings in the authenticity with which you start connecting with people. And there is that transparency and trust that gets established and fostered over time. And the last one is it starts creating opportunities for growth. Opportunities that you would have not imagined. Opportunities that you would have not understood. That is what happens or unfolds when you start showing your work. And if I ask you to take a step back and look at all of these, what do they signify? Building our personal brand. You don't have to be a genius to show your work. Let me tell you a fun fact. One of the most renowned football or soccer coach who has won the maximum titles across the world is someone who has never played football himself. If you know who am I talking about, put it in the comments. Number 2, share your process and not just the final product. The importance of sharing your creative process rather than just the final or the end product can only happen when you are sharing your journey, which is a mix of positives, negatives, challenges, successes, where you have to be vulnerable, and as an individual, as you share your work, you attract more people who would resonate with you. Be consistent. Well, this is true for all. This is probably the mother of all statements, right? But it is important. Showing up and sharing something small every single day, or the periodicity that you would want to decide or choose to, will keep your network engaged and connected to the work that you intend to do and the learnings that you are having. Be open and authentic. Be open about your influences, your tastes, experiences, and this authenticity attracts like-minded individuals. Leverage the power of storytelling. There is a story with everyone. Emphasize the significance of telling compelling stories about your work, as stories create connections and add value to your whole creative process and the process of sharing it with others. And remember, we all learn from stories more than anything else, because it doesn't matter what you say, it doesn't matter what you do, it will always and always will only matter how you make others feel. And the stories are the best way to make someone feel connected with who you are. My favorite, teach what you know. Learn something, pick up something, share that knowledge, start teaching, tell about it to others, share what you have picked up, seek perspectives, seek inputs, and that not only adds value to what your knowledge acumen is, but it also generates interest and engagement from your network and the circle of influence that you have. And the last but not the least, be okay with the criticism. It is bound to happen. It is inevitable. but embrace the criticism as a part of the creative process and learn from it as a feedback. Pick up things that you think are constructive and will help you to grow, and let go of things that won't matter. So, don't be a genius to share. Share your process, not the final product. Be consistent, be open, be authentic, leverage the power of storytelling, teach what you know, and be okay with the criticism.